Now, most computers do not come pre-installed with these things, so we need to go out and get them. But luckily, these three things are completely free. And there are lots of different tools out there that will automatically install all three of them for us, right? So all of the tools listed on the screen right now, they are free and they all do the same thing. They give us the metaphorical soil, water, and sunlight that WordPress needs in order to run on our computer. So we don't need all of these tools, we just need one of them. Now, if you've dabbled with WordPress development in the past, you might already have one of these tools installed on your computer. If that's the case, you can keep using it. You do not need to install another one. But if you're brand new, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed with all of these choices. So right now, why don't we install Local by Flywheel together, step by step. This is my favorite tool of the bunch, and it's super easy to use. It's what I recommend for 95% of people. For the other 5%, who might consider themselves power users, you might be interested in the 10 times more difficult VirtualBox and Vagrant setup. I only recommend VirtualBox and Vagrant if you already have a lot of experience as a developer and you're just new to WordPress development. So if you're someone that enjoys manually configuring things, and you're not afraid to run into a few error messages and try and troubleshoot things, maybe this is the path for you. It is indeed the tool that the creators of WordPress itself use on their computers. But for most people, I don't recommend it because there's a lot that can go wrong and you can waste a lot of time just troubleshooting. If you are interested in VirtualBox and Vagrant, stick around until the very end of this video and I will show you how to get started. Okay, but for 95% of us, right now, let's go install Local by Flywheel. This is by far my favorite way to get WordPress installed on your personal computer. So in a new tab in your web browser, search for Local by Flywheel. As of this recording, the official URL is local.getflywheel.com. Okay, then go ahead and click the big free download button and proceed to download the software. You might have to enter your first name or an email address or basic info, but the software is completely free. You will not have to pay even a penny. The download file is a decent size, so it might take a while to download. You might need to go grab a coffee while you wait, but once the download completes, jump into your computer's downloads folder and go ahead and begin installing the program. The installation process should look something like this, and this could take up to several minutes, so be patient. When it completes, it should then give you this option to create a new site. Go ahead and click that. We need to give this new site a name. Just to follow along with the course, why don't you name it Fictional University? Personally, I've already created a site with that exact name, so just for this demo, I will say Amazing College. Let's click Continue. We can go ahead and use the preferred default options, so continue again. And here you get to choose your username and password. Just choose something that you can remember, and also enter your email address. Then go ahead and click Add Site. I'm not interested in setting up a default password right now, so I just click Not Now. And this might take a few minutes to complete, but when it does, we now have our own local dev environment copy of WordPress up and running on our personal computer. So you can just click this View Site button. If that's not available yet, you might just need to start your website up in the top right corner. But once it's up and running, just click View Site. And here we have a brand new, completely fresh copy of WordPress. Up in the address bar, you can see that it gave us our own fake local dev domain. It basically told our computer that if we visit this domain, instead of looking out onto the internet, just look within our own personal computer. And this means that you are the only one in the world that can view your website. If you shared this domain with a friend or family member, they would not be able to see your website yet. Cool, so you've got your own private playground copy of WordPress that you can experiment with. If you want to log in as the admin of the site, up in the address bar at the end of this domain, just add /wp-admin, press enter, enter the username and password you chose just a moment or two ago, Cool, and here's your typical WordPress admin dashboard. Now let's pretend you've been working and experimenting for a while and you're done for the day. To shut things down, just jump back to the Local by Flywheel application. We can click Stop Site up in the top right corner. Okay, and then you're free to close the program. Now let's imagine it's the next day and you're ready to start working on your WordPress site again. Just open up Local by Flywheel. It could take several minutes to load, but once it does, just click on your website that you created here. Okay, and then in the top right corner, we just need to click Start Site. Cool, so now it's running again. So now back in your browser, you're free to use your website again. You might need to refresh. And remember that if you forget this URL, you can always just click View Site right here. Okay, now there's only one more super important thing that I need to tell you right now before we move on. I want to show you where on your computer your new website files actually live. So right here where you see your website listed, if you right click on that, if you're on a Mac, you can choose Reveal in Finder. If you're on Windows, it will say Show in Folder or something similar. Basically, we're looking for the folder or directory where the website lives. So click on that option, and that will show you the folder for the current website that you're working on. If you're wondering where this lives, it's inside your user account's home directory. If you're on a Mac, within your home folder, you will now see a brand new folder named Local Sites, right? And that contains our projects. If you're on Windows, you will have a new folder named Local Sites within the base of your main user folder. So it would be sitting alongside your Downloads folder. Okay, now before we bring this lesson to a close, I want to show you where the actual WordPress files themselves live. So within Local Sites, within our project folder, dig into App, and then Public, and here we are. We are going to be spending a lot of time in this folder in this course. These are the system files that actually power WordPress. Perhaps the most important folder is named WP-content. If you look inside it, we see another folder named Themes, and inside there is a folder for each theme that you have installed. Now in this course, we are going to be creating our own brand new theme. So very shortly, we will be setting up a new folder here, and that's where we are going to do a lot of our work. Now at this point, give yourself a pat on the back because you've completed the first step towards becoming a WordPress developer. You now have a local dev environment. But remember that not everyone in this course is using this same Local by Flywheel setup. So before we bring this lesson to a close, I just want to stress one thing to you, and that is that even if in future lessons my screen doesn't look exactly like your screen, that's okay. And even if I'm working in a slightly different folder, like personally in my case, my websites live on my desktop, right? In this lowercase local sites folder. That's not important. So just know that throughout the entire course, when you hear me say that I want you to jump to your project folder, or your WordPress folder, or your theme folder, just know that you are in the right spot. For you, I just want you to open up your project within your local sites folder, jump into it, then jump into app, then jump into public. Okay, this is really the only folder that you need to worry about throughout the entire course. I'm usually going to tell you things like, now I want you to jump into WP content. Cool. Now for the remainder of this lesson, I'm going to show a very small percentage of people how to use VirtualBox and Vagrant. If you just used Local by Flywheel to set up your site, you do not need to watch this. And you can also skip the entire next video lesson because we are just going to be walking through the more difficult technical way of installing WordPress, which you've already done. So you can skip the rest of this video, you can skip the entire next video, and I want you to jump into the lesson named First Taste of PHP. And you can even skip ahead to about the 4-minute and 19-second mark. Now in that lesson, we are going to learn the very basics of the PHP language, which is what powers WordPress. In that video, personally, on my computer, I'm going to be experimenting in a file named index.php. Now, because you used local by Flywheel, I want you to work with a slightly different file. And this has nothing to do with WordPress. It's just going to be an exercise to learn about PHP. Basically, for you, instead of looking for a file named index.php in this folder, in this main folder that contains all of the WordPress system files and folders like WP content and WP admin, I will want you to create a brand new file in this folder. Just name it something unique. If you don't know how to create and edit a new text file, that's okay. I will show you that in detail in the First Taste of PHP video. But just to give you an example of what I will want you to do in that video, within a text editor program that I will help you find on your computer, I'm going to want you to create a new file in that main WordPress folder and name it something like experiment or unicorn or pizza. The name doesn't matter, but .php.